Virgo, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Keeping in mind these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone, so make sure to check out your other placements to get a more complete picture. And if you'd like a personal reading, you can find the link for that in the description below. All right, my friends, let's get started and see what messages we have for Virgo. What is the energy around Virgo for the week ahead? Okay, I think that was, let's see. I feel like you're going to get lots of cards. Just curious. If I go through the whole deck, which ones come out for you? Okay, yeah, lots of messages here. Okay, let's see. Yeah, To Be Fair was the first card. So To Be Fair, Orphaned, and Never Ending Story sort of came out first. These two cards in the reverse are very interesting because it feels like there could be something here that is sort of balancing itself out, but it might feel like you're being held accountable for something this week, Virgo. You might be feeling like you're being held accountable for something, and it's forcing you to sort of look at something that is a pattern that isn't serving you, but it's a pattern within. This is a pattern that is something that you're keeping alive, but it doesn't seem to be serving you, okay? It's not serving you to continue in this pattern. Let me just adjust the camera so that you can see the cards a bit better. There we go. So these first two oracle cards that came out for you are sort of showing us that there is something here that feels like a rejection, but it's a rejection based on something that happened that you were involved in. Do you know what I mean? So there's this idea here that you might be feeling like some old wound is coming to the surface again, and it may be time to address a decision that was made or to bring healing to some decision or outcome that was made where you feel like you've been abandoned by someone or something. So it's very interesting. Right now, it's almost time to acknowledge that not all relationships are dysfunctional, and not all relationships will have this kind of outcome where you feel like you've been abandoned or you feel like you've been sort of cast out or cast aside by someone. Now, the interesting thing about this is that you had a role in this as well, Virgo. This is a two-way street situation. When I see that To Be Fair card in reverse, it guides us to this idea of feeling like there is a cause and effect loop here. Do you know what I mean? And you may be sort of experiencing this moment of feeling cast out because of a decision that was made that now has repercussions or consequences. And it's interesting. I just noticed that you've got card 38 and 37 here. So and we still have two more to add to this story. But the idea here is that something has happened that is bringing balance. This is all about cause and effect. Certain actions have certain consequences. And I feel like you're experiencing one of these consequences right now. And it's bringing up a feeling of almost fear, neglect, abandonment. You're sort of internalizing this as a rejection, and it feels lonely. It feels like there's someone or something here that is making you feel like this pattern where you've been abandoned yet again. You know what I mean? And it's interesting. So you're being guided to sort of have compassion for yourself and for whoever else is involved in this situation with you, because ultimately this is a message that is trying to teach you a lesson of a certain pattern of behavior that's not serving you. It keeps letting you down, and you keep feeling let down whenever this sort of moment comes up. It's like a pattern of behavior that seems to not be serving you, and it's calling up this idea of trusting that if it's leading to that outcome time and time again, where the cause and the effect loop creates this feeling of rejection and loneliness, then there may be something here for you to integrate as a message here. The other energy I'm picking up on here is that you may hear from someone involved in this situation. You may get a message from them. They may reach out to you to say, that things ebb and flow in life in terms of their natural cycles. And so perhaps you'll hear from them and they'll have some message for you with respect to the situation being alleviated, or perhaps you'll hear from them in a way that brings closure. So it's interesting, Virgo. What's on the bottom of the deck here is clean it up. Yeah. There's something from the past, it feels like recent past, is coming to the surface for you to have another look at it, because it's a pattern of behavior action, communication, and it's not serving you. So it keeps coming up for you to look at it, so you can bring it into a place of sort of looking at it, so you can clean it up, so you can actually look at the truth of this and be fair, to see your role in something, and that it's part of a pattern of behavior that's not serving you. Look, as I cut the deck, we see the Two of Swords and the Six of Swords. So you're really being guided to leave some way of thinking and communicating behind. And I think you're at the crossroads part of it right now, the Two of Swords. You're trying to decide what to do with this, because it's not making you feel like the outcome was fair. But from what I'm seeing, cause and effect, it was fair. That was the Seven of Swords that just tried to flip over. So it feels like there was something going on that you weren't exactly honest about or above board about, and it caused a separation. It caused a relationship to disintegrate here. And again, there's no judgment here, Virgo. This is all happening to teach us stuff, right? So I feel like intuitively you know what the lesson is, but you're denying it to yourself. There's the Eight of Wands. Or you may have known intuitively that this would be the outcome if you took that same road. And here it is, right? Like there may have been an intuitive sort of understanding before this all happened that this would be the outcome. Or you may be feeling intuitively that you have something to look at here. Ace of Swords in reverse, which is pointing right back at you. So interesting, Virgo. I'm kind of feeling like you're being called accountable this week. You're being held accountable, and you're being called up on some action that caused a separation in a relationship, and someone's not making an effort anymore. Eight of Pentacles. Someone has decided to sort of pull away, and it's up to you to sort of see this as a loss or as a moment of reflection that could lead to healing. Ultimately, you have been sort of cast out, right? When we see this Five of Pentacles, it can sort of allude to the idea of a loss, or it can even indicate a physical sort of need for attention in some way. Like you might be really feeling cast out, not welcome, not wanted, and it's trying to teach you that there's a cause and effect here. This was a consequence. So you're facing consequences for some sort of situation that you were a part of that led to separation between you and someone else, or you and a group, or you and an experience. Like you've been sort of left out now. You're feeling left out, and it's feeling like whoever's on the other end of this is no longer making an effort. Look at that. Oh my God, so incredible when stuff like this happens. I cut the deck and we see the Hierophant and the Emperor. The Emperor is card 4, the Hierophant is card 5. So it's interesting because these cards come together, and it's a very well shuffled deck. So, oh, sorry, you can't see. So this is interesting because this makes me feel like you know the truth about this situation. You know how you know the truth about your responsibility in this situation. And it's time to sort of take responsibility, be accountable for what has happened here, and decide what you want to do about it. Are you going to clean it up, or are you going to fight against it, or are you going to be open about how you feel? You might be feeling open. Like there's the Knight of Cups. You might be on one hand feeling like you want to move forward towards this separation and say, you know, your part in it and take responsibility. Or you might feel that and not be, you know, moving in that direction. You might be like, no, I'm not going to do that. But it's interesting. Either way, you're definitely thinking about it. You might be overthinking it. That might be why you're hesitating, because you're not trusting yourself. You're not trusting the other person maybe, or you're not trusting that the outcome will be positive. Yeah, look at that. The Judgment card in reverse with the Fool. It's almost like you're being intentionally dismissive when it comes to this situation in some ways, because you don't want to face it. You know that if you look at it, you're going to have to sort of accept things or change things, and there's almost a part of you here that's denying you had anything to do with it. You know, there's a part of you that's just sort of not, you know, looking at it. You're it's almost like you're casting the blame away from yourself. When I see these cards, there's a part of you that acknowledges that you would like to move forward and heal this connection. But then there's another part of you that's thinking, no, I'm not going to do that. It's their fault. It's their problem. If they don't like what's going on, they should do something different. And it's interesting because I feel like you're being guided to look at it from a different perspective here, Virgo. And there's the Two of Swords sort of confirming that, like, are you really going to go in that direction, or are you going to go in a different direction? I feel like you're torn. Should you make an effort, or should you not make an effort? Should you make amends, or should you not make amends? You know what I mean? Like it almost feels like you feel like they should move towards you. But it's either way, it's causing you a lot of anxiety, and it's almost like something that you never thought would ever happen. I feel like you're in a situation that, you know, you've had this pattern of behavior before, and I feel like for some reason you thought it would be different this time, that maybe the other person involved wouldn't ever leave you no matter what. You know what I mean? And yet here we are, and they have pulled away, and it doesn't feel like they want to move back towards you yet. Maybe they're waiting on an explanation or an apology or some kind of message from you indicating that, you know, you understand this. Look at what's coming through for you in the angel cards. We're seeing compassion and healing energy. I almost feel like you need to offer that to yourself and this other person. That's all that will bring healing to this situation is compassion, is trying to see it from another perspective. When I was shuffling the smaller clarifying deck, I saw the Hermit trying to sort of make its way into this reading. And so that makes me feel like seeing things from a different perspective is going to allow you to heal this connection potentially, but that ultimately compassion is what's needed. You need to be able to see this from the other person's perspective with compassion. You know, compassion is this idea of holding space for someone without having to ask why they feel the way they do, just sort of seeing someone in a state and holding space for them because you know that energetically you've lived that timeline before, and we've all lived all of these timelines. So to extend each other that compassion says, I'm holding space for you because I feel you. I feel you, and I'm holding space for you. Instead of getting into a big who's right, who's wrong debate, because I don't think that's going to solve anything. Ultimately, it feels like this is a moment to be honest and to communicate and to go for this idea of releasing something within ourselves in order to create healing energy outside of ourselves. Very interesting reading for you this week, Virgo. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this reading's been helpful, and I'm sending you so much love, my friends. Take care.